Hey everyone, it's me. I want to talk about part of my childhood, which I held so dear. And I think I've mentioned in the past that I didn't feel particularly close with my own mother. And so I was very fortunate to have been raised in a neighborhood that really defined what a neighbor should be. I experienced a lot of love, acceptance, and encouragement, not only from my teachers at school and my external family members. But I want to talk about these are the people in my neighborhood. It's the same song you would sing while watching Sesame Street. And I could tell you everyone that lived in every single house on my block. And everyone was absolutely wonderful. It's warm, inviting. I had always somewhere I could run off to. And one particular person um, was named Mrs. Mike. And this is no joke. Her husband was Michael Mike, and she also had a son named Mike Mike, who was named after his dad. And Mike and I were in the same grade together. So we all went to the same school, and Mike had 5 older sisters who used to babysit for us and would cut our hair and style our hair for pictures. And I would always run across the street to spend time with Mrs. Mike, and her name is Jean or Jeannie Mike. And I always felt welcome in her home. And there were times when her and I would sit on her front porch and she would read to me. And one of my very favorite stories that she would read was The Velveteen Rabbit. And I just remember sitting real close to her just while she held the book. And I was probably this little girl in awe. And I would look up at her and I just remember the love pouring off of her towards me as I just was able to participate in what is one of my absolute favorite pastimes as a child. And so I have nothing but positive and wonderful memories of her as a neighbor and as a woman who really encouraged me in life and always made me feel invited and warm and accepted. And so Mrs. Mike or Mr. Mike passed away a number of years ago, I think around 12 years ago. And in that time, Mrs. Mike ended up selling the home that she had raised her family in and had chosen a family. And I hadn't seen her in many, many years. And I don't know how actually I found out, but I'm still friends with her daughter on Facebook. And we reconnected and I kind of said, "Where does your mom live?" And she told me, and she's in a independent living facility not too far from where we were or from our neighborhood. And so I kind of said, "I really want to go see your mom." And so a number of years ago, I went to see her mom. And when she opened the door, I was so excited. I started crying and I she invited me in and we visited. And I'm telling you right now, all my childhood came back to me and I was able to say thank you for being so kind to me, a little girl who just lived across the street and really needed that type of love. And we visited. And I now a number of years had passed since I went to visit her, and I went to visit her again today because I decided to take a lot of my items that I have had sitting around collecting dust and a lot of collectibles or vintage items, and called the place where there's also a nursing home. I called that place and I said, could you use some things for bingo and prizes? And they said yes. So I decided to bring 3 big boxes of things for the residents. And I went to visit Mrs. Mike again, and we sat and talked for 3 hours. I'm just so excited I was able to see her. She was just one of the nicest people I had ever been in contact with and that I was allowed to um, be around as a little girl. And so we had a great visit today. Can't wait to see her again. I think I might go back for some classes because they have teachers at her facility, and I think just to go bring her a few things that I know she would enjoy. But I think when we have the opportunity, we should reach out to people that made a difference, because sometimes the people in our lives might not be around, but I think it's really nice to let someone know, hey, your kindness was appreciated and it made a huge difference in my life, and because of you, I am who I am today. So we were able to visit and get all the feels, and I surprised her. So she wasn't expecting me, but I just want to say thank you to her, and I have nothing but positive memories. And so maybe she'll watch this video and maybe not, but reach out to people who made a difference and let them know, and I'm sure they will appreciate your kind words. So that's it. I'll be back.